When a player first enters when in Rogue, they can easily be overwhelmed by the amount of things that are going on throughout the game. Which class should I pick? What upgrades should I buy? How do I defeat a certain mini-boss? After completing several runs, there's a strategy that begins to emerge. So, here are some tips that I believe every new player should know. First, make sure you're managing your inventory space based on your goal. This can either be a coin run or a completion run. When going for your first completion run of a dungeon, it's very important to carefully manage your inventory. Saving bandages early on will be extremely useful for you. If running solo, make use of your 3 lives to save healing. Ultimately in the stronghold, aim for several potions and around 15 bandages when going into floors 4 or 5. Remember that bandages basically stack indefinitely, making them a valuable resource to save for further on. If you have several potions already and more drop, make sure to use them as you get them. When looking for gold to upgrade your gear, make sure that valuables are your main priority. As you get valuables, get rid of those bricks, skulls, and cracked vases in your inventory in favor of coal or redstone ore, or whatever valuable item you can find at the time. Second, you don't always have to defeat mini-bosses. While mini-bosses sometimes have a key, there are other ones that simply drain resources with little payoff. When going for completion, don't waste resources on clearing mini-bosses unless absolutely necessary, or even when there is a key room, which will lead into our next tip. Third, you need to keep ender pearls on hand at all times. These ender pearls can get you out of a jam, either when you're getting surrounded or more importantly in skipping through rooms with key requirements. Using one pearl can keep you from having to face that corruptor or skeleton king. Extremely efficient. Fourth, always search extra rooms and paths for artifacts. Artifacts are found on the 3rd floor of each dungeon, while on floor 3, make sure you explore every single room. Artifacts will give you permanent buffs, so do everything in your power to not only find them, but bring them through that portal. Fifth, max out your sword as soon as possible, and also max out your bow afterwards for boss fights. On early floors, a max sword will be able to one-tap most enemies, and will still be useful for later floors. With high DPS, you'll clear more quickly, allowing you to get gold more quickly, as well as avoiding taking excess damage. That bow will also come in handy for damaging a boss without having to get in melee range and taking any damage. Sixth, you're going to want to upgrade armor based on what you struggle against. This is not your standard vanilla armor. Armor in When in Rogue, as I said, is not your standard armor. Each piece grants resistance to a specific type of damage. For example, a helmet will help against witches and magic damage, a chestplate will guard against physical attacks, leggings guard against ranged attacks, and boots will give you more time to sprint. So if you die to skeletons, make sure to upgrade your pants. If you find yourself running out of sprint, upgrade those boots. Number 7. It is possible to rush through rooms, saving resources. With higher tier boots, you can effectively sprint through most dungeon rooms. Say you have an artifact or are low on healing. Simply run from one end of the room to the other, and you can get through without drawing aggro from most of the enemies. Number 8. Equip artifacts as soon as you get them. Most artifacts have a requirement to kill a certain number of mobs before it can be used, so the sooner you equip it, the quicker you'll get that buff. 9. Use your mana. Personally, when I started playing, I ignored most of the abilities and opted to simply use my sword 24/7. With the warrior, the charge ability is very good at killing enemies that are a short distance away. It can come in clutch for killing skeletons before they shoot. Experiment and find what works best for your class, and be sure to take advantage of your mana. Number 10. When you're near max in terms of equipment, don't forget you can upgrade your health as well as your starting mana. This is self-explanatory. If you're going for hard mode clears, or if you're struggling with a normal clear, don't forget about the auxiliary upgrades. Of course, armor and weapons typically take priority, but health and mana upgrades can be useful as well towards the end of your progression. I hope all of these tips help you with your next runs. I'll be making a follow-up video addressing artifacts. A mystery to myself, with the help of a few others, I've gathered some information about the available artifacts and the best ways to get them. So check that video out later this week. Thank you and have a good rest of your day.